30 series, and Eric just talked about the 2920. The BYOD solution is built upon our Intelligent Management Center, our IMC, which we probably refer to it as, or we've heard. And it's really an extension of that provides a service that allows guest access to the network. So a guest can come onto the network, do self-service registration. So a guest comes onto a guest SSID or connects into a wired port. So it's universal from wired to wireless. And they'll be presented with a page in which they're going to register to the system. The system then has some controls, kind of like workflow. So if you wanted to have, let's say, a receptionist validate that user, you could do something like that. So you'll see that on this interface here. And then after the user gets onto the network, now we also fingerprint them, and we know what type of device they are. If they're like an Android, or they're an Apple, or they're a tablet, or they're running Windows 8 or 7, or so forth. So we can do some fingerprinting on the application, which is really good for guest access control. Now on the other end of the spectrum, you'd have an employee-owned device accessing a corporate-owned device accessing a corporate network. And there we would use traditional, like an 802.1x type authentication for that device onto the network. So we have, let's say, one end of the spectrum here, another end of the spectrum there. You have a whole gray area in the middle where you have an employee-owned device. And that's really where BYOD fits in. And it is taking that device onto the network, understanding that it's not a corporate-owned asset, and then how do we deal with that? What do we want to allow on there? Do we want to allow, maybe the organization only wants to allow Windows devices, or will allow Android devices, but don't want to allow iOS devices on their network. So now you have some decisions to make there. And at the decision process, that's through a fingerprint, you could also look at, based on their credentials, that they're an employee. So now that we know they're an employee, we might also want to install an agent on them so we can go beyond fingerprinting and do interrogation, is what I'll call it, where we can have visibility into the system to see, is it running antivirus, is it running firewall or not, and we have a client that will do that. So now that we have more information about the device, then we can make some decisions as to where do we want them to be able to go in there, what do we want them to be able to access. So we're starting to sort out that gray area with BYOD, which is really what it does. So we may have applications that are web-based, and BYOD, we get them onto a network where they can access corporate assets via a web interface, or maybe we want to look at something like, on top of that, doing client virtualization, which would be a technology that would kind of add or stack on top of this solution. So here we're controlling access, we're controlling self-service for the user registering. So in this example here, we can see like a registration page. We can see I have another device over here coming onto the network where we've determined, there we go. There we go.
One quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure. We determined that this is a tablet and so forth, and then we can make policy decisions based on that.
Does it also inventory the apps on the device for fingerprinting as well? Or is it just the device hardware and OS?
Yeah, we're mainly looking. I'll let Giuliano speak.
Yeah. So what we are doing now is to know about the device, the vendor, the operating system. So it's an Apple, it's an iPad, an iOS, and they're not working to the apps today because we understand that's the MDM feature that you try to work with some MDM vendors to integrate, because we understand that there are two solutions to be integrated. So it's not MDM you do what we are doing and we are not doing what MDM does. It's a complementary solution together with MDM for apps.
Thank you. Sorry.
Great. Yeah, it's over here, and this is a view of IMC where we can go in there and we can look and see what type of device they're coming on, what type of credentials they use. Are they employee? Are they guests? Is it a corporate-owned asset or not? And we can also view what they did. So it also has the ability to track, what type of data they were accessing, where from, to, and all that. So we can control them over, where they're coming into the network, what their credentials were, what type of device they have, and so forth. So we can do a posture assessment on them and be able to control what they're allowed to do. Maybe if they're on a wire, we're going to allow them this, but if they're on wireless, we're not going to allow them that. So it gives us complete control over that. It will work with, of course, the devices here, as well as the rest of the HVM line of equipment, and IMC being multi-vendor, right? Unique in the industry that it has multi-vendor configuration control over other equipment as well.
Does it save the logs?
Excuse me?
Does it save the logs for later?
Yeah,
over a period of time?
Yeah, so IMC for BYOD feature is launched yesterday. So you can go to hp.com, you see the product there is available to buy. So 830 is coming out in May. 2920 is available to sell. Thank you.
Great. So another product here too, and I know Rob had to step away here for a minute in the conversation, with the 830. So this is another product that was announced yesterday, and this is integrated wired and wireless. So it can manage access points as well as provide wired access and PoE Plus. Comes in an 8-port or a 24-port model with PoE Plus on it. There's modules here so we can add fiber onto the devices, SFPs onto these. And so that provides one of the industry's first unified wired and wireless access devices. The APs that you see on top, these are our MSM series access points. And as Rob mentioned this earlier, these had worked with another product line, and today they will also work with this new product line, so we can convert them off of their old controller onto these new controllers, the 430s, the 460s that we see here, which has integrated antennas, or the 466 here, which you can put external antennas on these devices. This is all running our ComWare operating system, and it unifies, truly ties those together. It will work with our BYOD solution, and you can also extend this even with the 2900s if you find the stackables as part of your solution, where you want to put these in your wiring closets, light up AEs and other parts of the network. So all this will actually work together and then some. Any other questions? Good? Thanks. So I think what we wanted to do is take you over to the Sentinel demo here. We've got